Hi everyone, I'm here together with my good friend and accountability buddy, Edson Williams of Lead by Example. And I've asked him to speak to us about the circle of influence. And I've done that because he's explained it to me and I found it so useful that I wanted him to explain it to you too. So hi Edson, thanks for being with me.
Hi, looking forward to having another lovely chat with you.
Yeah, and so tell me and tell us, what is the circle of influence?
The circle of influence, it's a tool. It's a tool to basically bring back our emotional freedom, just freedom in general. And it's easier if I explain it with my little whiteboard drawing. So if this circle is me, and inside this circle is everything that I can influence, right? So my emotions, physical, all the things that I can do and think. Now, most of us navigate through life controlling only this much of our emotions and our state, because we end up blaming other people, these little circles, blaming our husband, our boss, our parents, and sometimes it might be even blaming the weather. And these are all things that we can't control.
Yep.
But yet, all these things that are happening outside of our circle of influence are controlling how we feel. It's raining. Oh, my husband does his thing again, right? And because he does that, I'm now reacting, I'm upset. Right? And my boss does this thing, he's not responding. I've sent him an email and still no response. So frustrating. And every single time we do that, we hand over our emotional remote control to these people. Here, husband, have my emotional remote control. And right now, I have to react. I'm frustrated and angry.
I love the analogy actually, because it is like you just handed out remote controls and they're pressing them and you're kind of going crazy because they pressed these buttons.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's we become a victim, but we've done it because we've given them the remote control.
Yeah.
Because in that moment we forget that we have a choice.
Yeah, it's always our choice.
Exactly, we have a choice. Like, oh, my husband does that thing. I can choose to react. Here's my remote control, or I can choose to respond.
So what happens when I take back the remote control? What happens to the circle then?
So, of course, what happens to the circle is that, right, the area that we can influence, or our control of our influence, comes back to us. And in this space, because we're no longer reacting and jumping around from upset, frustrated, angry, and all of those emotions that we are basically blaming to all those other individuals outside of our circle, is that we now are in a place where we can choose our response. And when we can choose our response, we're no longer reacting, but we can now create. So what can I create with the situation with my husband? Let's say, well, you give me an example with your husband.
Okay, so let's say my husband, let's say my husband forgets to take out the rubbish.
Okay, so let's say your husband forgets to take out the rubbish. And there's a lot of us that do that, right? And we're not popular with our wives for doing so. So you can react and get frustrated and upset. But if you accept that that's the way he has it, that maybe for him it's not important, maybe he's just forgetful, whatever can happen to him in his circle, right? Okay, I can look for, I can create in this situation. So I can go to him and listen. How come you're struggling with taking out the garbage? Is it that you've got too much on your mind? Are you just forgetting? And you can listen, and then you can go, okay, so how can I help you? Does it help if I put a post-it on the front door that says garbage?
Okay, so you're really choosing your response instead of just getting angry and reacting.
Yes, because in the empathy, we get connection, and then we can become of service without becoming the person who takes out the garbage. We can become of service to somebody that we care about, right?
Okay, yeah,
Right?
makes sense.
Yeah, and if a little tip for all the wives out there, if you put that post-it out there with garbage, just draw a little heart underneath it with "I love you."
You'll go down better.
It will just go down better.
Yes, and
He
the
gets to feel
garbage will
like,
be taken out.
yes, because right, brownie points. Hey,
Okay, so
this
in
is a
what
big thing.
situation do you kind of bring this up with your clients? Say, at what point do you think, okay, now's the time to speak about the circle of influence?
Yeah, typically what happens is when I find my clients are blaming somebody else, and when they are judging others or situations, and when they start comparing themselves to others. Like, right? Comparing, you got no control over what other people are doing in their life. You are where you are. Control, work on this inside a circle.
Yeah.
What you can do, right? And right, I have a situation where clients even go as far as, could you speak to my boss or could you speak to my wife? And go, well, before I speak to them, let's make sure that you are able to be with them how they are.
Yeah.
Right? So that's when I usually bring it up.
Okay, so from my understanding is that first of all, you need to have the awareness, just know what's within your circle of influence. Then it's more listening and having empathy with the factor, and then choosing how you respond to it.
Yes, yeah. Because that's where you then get to create. And creating is way more powerful than reacting. Because in reacting, we tend to be very limited.
Okay. Thank you very much for explaining this. And we decided to do this in a 3-part video series. And so the second part, we're going to be talking about who actually influenced this and where does it come from.
Cool.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.